Hi everyone, today's video will tell you about the life and the works of Saint Carlo Acutis in my new video. First time I'm making a millennial saint. He was 15 years, canonized by Pope Leo XIV last year. And most of all, he's an God's influencer, so use that. Subscribe to my channel, don't miss off my new videos, and like this button, share the video as well. Carlo Acutis was born on May 3, 1991 in London to Italian parents Andrea Acutis and Antonia Salzano, and his family soon moved back to Milan, Italy. He was not a typical medieval saint, but a modern teenager who lived in the age of video games and the internet, and today he is celebrated as the Church's first millennial saint. Carlo's parents were not very religious when he was born, but his faith grew strong at a young age, and he helped bring his mother back to regular practice after his birth. From early childhood, he loved the Eucharist and daily Mass, and he would encourage others to pray, go to confession, and deepen their spiritual life. He kept a personal diary where he wrote down good marks and bad marks to help himself grow in virtue. Unlike many saints from earlier eras, Carlo lived in the digital age and used technology for holy purposes. He taught himself computer programming and web design at a young age. Using his tech talents, he created a website cataloging Eucharist miracles. Miracles where bread and wine were reported to visibly transform in ways the Church investigated to help educate others about the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. His website eventually became a tool used by parishes and teachers around the world. Like many teens, Carlo enjoyed video games, including titles on PlayStation consoles, Halo, Super Mario, Pokemon, and others. To keep his faith life balanced, he limited gaming to a small disciplined amount of time each week as a personal spiritual discipline. He also liked other typical boyhood interests such as comics and Friends, but he integrated his faith into them rather than letting them distract him from spiritual goals. In October 2006, at just 15 years old, Carlo suddenly became sick. After going to the hospital, he was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, an aggressive blood cancer. Even during his illness, he offered his suffering as a gift for the Church and for the Pope. He died on October 12, 2006. After Carlo's death, he was initially buried in Milan. In 2020, his remains were transferred to the Church of Santa Maria Maggiore in Assisi to be displayed in a glass tomb for veneration. There were some reports, including early media or online posts, saying his body was found incorrupt, meaning miraculously preserved. However, Church officials clarified that while his remains were intact, they were not truly incorrupt in the traditional sense of miraculous preservation. The body had undergone normal processes, and a black silicone mask was placed on his face and hands for respectful display, as is sometimes done. Today, Carlo's relics, including his heart, are used for veneration and pilgrimages. To become a saint in the Catholic Church, two verified miracles are usually needed. First miracle, a Brazilian boy born with a pancreatic defect was reportedly healed after prayers for Carlo's intercession. This miracle led to Carlo being beatified, declared blessed, on October 10, 2020, when I was almost 18 years old. Second miracle, A young woman in Italy with a serious head injury reportedly recovered in a way the church accepted as miraculous, contributing to his path to canonization. Carlo was, Carlo was canonized a saint on September 7, 2025 by Pope Leo XIV and is often called the patron saint of the Internet because of his use of technology to spread the faith. After Carlo's death, his mother, Antonia Salzano Acutis, reported a dream in which Carlo told her she would have more children. A few years later, when she was in her 40s, an age when pregnancy is less common, she indeed gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. This event has been widely shared by those promoting Carlo's spiritual legacy as a touching family miracle connected to his intercession. The twins have been named Francesca and Michelle in many accounts. This is a heartfelt story of his mom gave birth to twins. Today, Saint Carlo Acutis is remembered for showing that holiness is attainable even in modern culture, using technology for good, especially to share his Catholic faith, inspiring young people around the world, demonstrating that deep spiritual devotion can exist alongside ordinary interests like video games and computers. His feast day in the Catholic Church is October 12th, the anniversary of his death.